actually am a self-taught photographer. YouTube was my school in a lot of ways. It taught me so many things. Whenever I wanted to learn something, if I had a question about something, I would just search it up. And it's funny because I learned a lot of lessons through that. Certain lessons that I learned was just that like every single angle, changes the light completely when you're shooting something. But also I think in that journey, there were, a lot of hard things too. I started at 13 and, there were photography websites that you can put your work up, but I was so young, I actually would get kicked off of them. And, but I just kept shooting and I kept wanting to do stuff, and there were just all these different lessons that I learned, or lots of just things that people would tell me, rules, photography rules. I remember one of my friends was taking a photography class, and the teacher happened to just look at some of my work, and she had, told me that, about the rule of thirds. That usually is that, your photo is divided up into threes. And you generally aren't supposed to have your picture centered all the time. And I remember I took that to heart so much, and I would just put the person all the way on the side the whole time, and I was so extreme about it, so dramatic about it. But honestly, what I ended up realizing through all of that was that it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if a picture is perfect according to all the rules. A picture is perfect because of how it makes you feel. It's about what you connect to it, what makes you connect to it. That's what I learned the most in a lot of that. One of my very first gigs, you're kind of you're always hoping for a job when you're first starting to take pictures. When you're starting to do anything that you love, you wanna, make money, or you wanna just connect with other people. One of my first gigs was working with this designer. It was so fun because one of my first things that I loved to do was I would draw all my ideas, and she sent me pictures of her collection, and I would draw all my ideas, and I'd tell her, I want the model like this, and I want her pose like this, and I want it in this location. And so we honestly just collaborated the whole time. It was so nice. It was just like we were all playing the whole day. It was the best time, and that definitely was just a little bug that bit me, that it just got me so addicted to taking pictures. A big turning point in my career, it sounds so weird to say, but my photo journey was when I was about 15 or 16. There was this contest for American Eagle, and for those of you that don't know American Eagle, it's kind of similar to Levi's or Calvin Klein, kind of something like that, and they were having a contest online about who could take the best shot in their jeans or their clothes. So me and my friend, we were super excited. We, put some stuff together. I took some pictures of her in her American Eagle shorts out in the field, just really fun. We ended up being a finalist. And so because of that, I had a picture on a digital billboard in Times Square when I was 15. It was so cool. And I think really at that time, my parents even looked at me and was like, I think this is something that you should pursue. And so we just kept going. There's a lot of different things that you encounter on your journey as a photographer, as an artist, as a creative person. I think because I was self-taught, I definitely encountered a lot of times where I was just with myself, and a lot of times of self-doubt, and you're like, am I doing this right? Am I doing the right thing? Because you're on your own, I think sometimes when you have maybe say parents that have done the same job, that you're going in the same direction, they can help you, or someone older can mentor you. And when you're kind of going at it alone, you're scared because you don't know where to go next, what the next step looks like. It feels like it's all in the dark. But it teaches you a lot. Life teaches you a lot. And so even though there's lots of things, the people that you keep around you are what keeps you going. I was able to, when I was 15, around that same time, I had a photographer that I worked for and that I interned for, and he would help me so much. He'd give me advice and tell me, maybe you should try this direction, maybe you should do this. Don't follow the rules, don't stick to all the rules. Other things that I go through too, that I mentioned earlier, was that, people would tell me that there were certain rules to photography, that your picture had to technically be like this, and it had to, have whatever specific settings, but it doesn't matter, really, at the end of the day. What really matters is how a picture makes you feel, how you are at the photo shoot. Are you happy taking pictures? Does that bring you joy? Does it bring you joy to sing or to be in the ocean? Whatever it is, you should do it. That's all that matters. So for today's setup, we have two setups actually. The first one is shot on a light gray backdrop, very soft lighting, something that feels kind of almost like a big window light, very soft, wrapped evenly, kind of light. Very simple, clean. It's all about the band, all about the boys, and the phone. So that's what we have for the first one. And the second one is we have some string lights to kind of emulate some bokeh in the background. It's a little bit more almost like what you'd see kind of walking around at night on the street, kind of seeing some little lights around. So we have that. We have the lights for the backdrop, and then our key light is this aperture light, which kind of is this big bright light. It's a continuous light similar to the string lights, which kind of helps so we can kind of envision the shot a little bit better. When it comes to your process, it really is kind of whatever you want it to be. But for me, it starts out with an idea. I have a concept in mind. A lot of times I'm really thinking about what needs to be said right now. Or what's making someone dream? What can make someone inspired? What can make someone think? What can make someone feel? And I think about all the different things that need to be said, and I put a mood board together. I think, okay, and I mood board it down to everything. How do I want the picture to look? If I can't find all the ideas of that, how do I want the lighting to look? How do I want the model to look? How do I want the posing to look? How do I want the location, hair, makeup, all those things? What kind of story do I want to tell? And you think about every possible thing that you can, even down to the nails, think about every detail that you can. This aperture light, which I don't know if you can really see it too much, is going to be our key light for this setup. We'll have these string lights in the background, again, to kind of like emulate bokeh. We'll have it we'll have the boys really far apart from the backdrop, so that way we can really blur it out and make it look a little more artsy, a little more creative. And then to light them in front will be your key light, your main light, the aperture light for today. Shooting for a magazine, pitch it to a magazine. Or if you're just shooting for fun, a lot of times I'll send whatever I'm thinking over to one of my friends that I think, okay, this person would be great to collaborate on this type of project or this story together. And then I kind of develop my little almost feels like a superhero team of people that I think, okay, this person could do the best makeup for this job, or this one could really help me deliver that lighting or, the posing to the best way if I can't do it myself. And so we develop that whole thing together. If I'm shooting for a client, again, like I'll pitch the idea to them of, based on what your company represents, and based on what we're going for, this is what I think would be the best, way to deliver that message. And so we just collaborate. It's all about collaboration. What is really, really important is that it feels like a safe space. If a model doesn't feel comfortable with something, we don't do it. That's just how it is for me, because I feel like you feel that. Energy is really important to me. I know it sounds cheesy, but energy is important. You could feel that in a picture. If someone feels uncomfortable, you feel that in the eyes. You see it. Or if someone's nervous, or maybe someone doesn't feel confident in what they're wearing, you feel that. You see that. And so it's all about collaboration. It's all about being open. Interesting.
So we could do one of two things. We could either bring your ISO up a third to get it to there, or we could bring this down to 1/60th to get it to there, or we just keep it where you're at 200, at 1,000, and we just literally bring it up a third in post like we do here.
Yeah, which we can probably just do that.
Which is maybe better than you changing your 200th for speed.
And to me, it's like if I, walk on, into that photo shoot open-minded and open for whatever we can make together, if everyone does the same, then we get just such magic. So we do that. I like to really let everybody be involved in the process. Even if we're shooting a celebrity, I like to let them look at the concept beforehand, so that way they're inspired by it. That way they're excited to collaborate, to create together. And that way there's also just nothing surprising, So that way we all know we're all on the same page. I think that is a little nice.
Right.
And same with the picture process. If I'm shooting on digital, we'll go through the pictures. We'll go on the computer, we'll look at all the different shots, and we'll see what's working, what's not working. A lot of times, maybe sometimes people have insecurities of maybe things that they don't want to share yet. And, to me, that's, again, it's all a safe space. So we'll go through the pictures, we'll talk about stuff, and we'll just keep continuing to create. A lot of times with the client, they get more say in that. If we're just all shooting for fun, we all get to choose the pictures that we like together. If it's for a client, whatever they say goes. I'm always super open about, whatever picture you think is the best. I can give you my opinion and I'll tell you, I think these are the best ones. But if you're like, no, I like this one, I'm like, okay, that's what we're going with. Because, with business and with clients, you want to make sure that they're happy, and that's all that matters.
We did something like that last time.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, it was 3 of them actually.
Oh, okay, yeah, like all together and stuff. Life inspires me in a lot of ways, but music inspires me. Music has always just been a safe haven for me, and I love music. One thing that I kind of like to do, kind of random, but it's almost like a musical, I don't know, popcorn of inspiration. I'll kind of listen to a song, and the first word that comes to mind, I write it down. And then from that word, I think of the first thing that comes to mind from there. And so on and so on and so on. And then I'll kind of look at the words, and then I'll see and I'll kind of think about it and think, okay, what is this kind of saying? If I think of, let's see, okay. If I think of soldier, makes me think of red. And then it makes me think about, red makes me think about roses. And then if I look at, okay, roses, red, soldier, kind of makes me think a little bit of like Alice in Wonderland or something. And so I think, okay, well, how can I kind of put these all together and make it look different and interesting and maybe feel a little bit, whimsical like Alice in Wonderland, but let's make it our own. And that's kind of how I like to play with things too. That always inspires me. People inspire me, just at people's stories, ways that we can tell stories, ways that we can share, and really just educate people in different ways. To me, art is so important when it comes to life. Art is life, and when you can educate someone in a different way, shed light onto something, open their eyes to something new, it's the best. Gorgeous. Yeah. One of my favorite pictures that I took actually was a picture that I took on my phone. I took it of my brother. This was years ago, pre-COVID. We were in Hawaii with my family, and it was the last day that we were there, and it was sunset. We were at the beach, and I saw my brother kind of out there, and I saw his little silhouette against the sunset, and he just put his arms out. And I remember I just clicked it. It was just so beautiful. I just saw that he was so peaceful, and he was so happy, and also a little sad to go, and it was just such a beautiful moment. One thing that I really love is to just find key moments that just feel special. A lot of times when I am traveling or doing things, I like to just kind of people watch and see things, and you really can, I think when you really open your eyes, you really just see such special moments. You'll see an old couple on the street, about to kiss, and you just capture that moment, but that was one of my favorite moments of me and my brother.